Previously we made a video on the reference page, or how an APA page should be formatted, or APA reference page should be formatted. So in today's video we are now going to focus on in-text citation, and to be more specific, APA in-text citation. So how do we cite citations on APA formatted paper? So before we get started, kindly good people, consider subscribing to this YouTube channel, like this video, and you can also share it with your friends. And now let's get started. So welcome good people, I'm glad to have you back in our today's tutorial. So in this video we're going to focus more on how we do the in-text citation in APA writing format. So this is the page that you're going to use. The page that you can see on your screen is what we're going to use in our video. So this is an assignment that I've already done. So it has the cover page, as you can see from this particular section. And then when you scroll downwards, you're going to see the work that I did. It's just a one work page. And then when you scroll all the way to the last page, you're going to find the reference page. Remember, we had earlier made a video on how you're supposed to cite, or how you're supposed to format your reference page on APA. So on this particular page, you can see I just have three references, but in our case we are going to just to learn how we cite different references differently, because we don't cite all references in the same way. There is a way that we use to cite the references to make sure that your work is quality, and also to make sure that you satisfy your clients. So to start with, there are two major ways that we use to cite articles in APA writing format. One of the way is called parenthetical, and then the other one is called narrative. So the difference is very slight, but very important. Remember, when you choose to use one format, you have to go with it throughout that particular assignment. When you choose the other one, you also have to ensure that you also follow that. So when it comes to in-text citation in APA, we just consider two things: the number of authors. So we're going to focus in both the narrative and the parenthetical formats of in-text citation. So let's now get started. So when we look at this particular document here, we have the author type, we have the parenthetical format, and we have the narrative way. For example, when you have one author, if you decide to use the parenthetical way, you're just going to write the name of the first of the author, and then you separate the name with a comma. You separate the name and the year of the date with a comma. When it comes to narrative, you just write the name of the author, and then you open brackets and write the year. So for instance, in this document, we do not have a situation where we have just an author, just a single author. So I'm going to delete this part. So that I'm going to remain with this one author, the booker, and then comma 2020. Suppose I'm using the parenthetical format, so I'm going to copy this area. I'm going to copy this author. So let me copy, and then assume that I'm going to cite my first paragraph using that particular author. So I'm going to delete this citation and paste what I've just copied. So I start this one with an opening bracket. Remember, we are using the parenthetical format, and then I delete this one bracket here. So having done that, that will be very okay with that particular document. So I have already done it in the correct manner. If I were to use the other way, narrative format, I'm going to delete that one, and then I also remove I now add another bracket for that given section, and that will be the right way of citing that particular paragraph, using both the narrative and the parenthetical. And remember, it is so important to remove that particular author. So that's how we do it when we have just a single author in both ways. I've said in parenthetical you enclose everything in the bracket. When using the narrative, you just enclose the date or the year of publication. I hope that's very clear, guys, with you. Let's now get to the second part, where we have two authors. So in a scenario where we have two authors, you just separate the name of the two authors with and. For example, in the previous case here, I think we had two authors, so we can just use the second citation. This one, the second reference. This is our second reference. So I'm just copy this information. I'm going to copy this info, and then I'm going to use it in my citation. So I'm going to use it in the same paragraph that I used. So I'm going to delete that, and then paste that. So using the parenthetical format, this is how we do it. You start by opening bracket, and then you delete all the abbreviations, and you replace all that with and remember it should be in letters, no short forms. And then I come to this point from where we have the opening bracket, I delete all that, and then I put a comma and space. So that's how we cite using the parenthetical format. That's how we do it using the parenthetical format. Suppose I was using the other format, the narrative format. So I'm going to delete this opening bracket and also that comma, put some space between the second author and the date, and then make sure that I have an opening bracket in that given area. So having done this will be very correct as far as the narrative is concerned. And now the very last section is where we have three or more authors. Remember, we have just focused on the first author, and where in a scenario where we have just 2 authors, and now in this other case we're going to focus on a scenario where we have at least 3 authors or 3 authors and above. So in a case where we have 3 authors and above, this is how we do it. I don't know whether you have for example, you have this one which has more than 3 authors. We have this one, you have this one, you have this one, you have this one, you have this one, and you have this other. So there are very many. Actually there are more than 3. So this is how we do it. You just copy the name of the first author in both cases, both parenthetical and narrative. So you just copy the name of the first author, and then you take it to where you want to cite the in-text citation, assuming that we are doing it in this case. So I'm going to have an open bracket, and then I paste that information there. So this is the parenthetical. I'm going to put a comma, and then the year of publication is we're not going to put a comma there. We're going to press something et al, and then full stop, comma, and now the year of publication, and then we close the bracket. So having done that, we'll be able, that is very correct way of citing references using the parenthetical through the parenthetical way, where we have more than 3 authors. But now, assuming that we were writing the same now using the narrative way, so I'm just going to delete the first bracket, and then I'm going to remove the comma, and now input an opening bracket to enclose the year, or to enclose the date of publication. I hope that is very clear. So we can have a summary of what we have said in this case. So we have one author. Under parenthetical, we say that we just write the name of the first author, and we separate that name with a comma, and we separate the name and the date with just a comma. And then for the narrative, you enclose the year of publication in brackets. And then where we have 2 authors, in the first case, you just write the name of the first author and the name of the second author, and you separate those 2 names with a comma. We separate those 2 names together with the year or the date of publication with just a comma. In this other case, you just write the name of the 2 authors, and then you enclose the date of publication, and that will be very okay. So for where we have 3 or more authors, this is how we do it. You have the name of the first author, and then et al, full stop, comma, and then the year of publication. That's how we do it. And then under narrative, you just write the name of the first author, you put a et al, and then full stop, and you enclose that particular year or date of publication in brackets. And then we have this last scenario here, where you might have a group of authors, and it is very clear here. Where you have too many authors, you just pick the name of the first author, you put a comma, and then you write the name, you write the year or the date of publication. That is under parenthetical. And then for the second case, you just write the first name, and then you enclose all that information. I don't know whether you have noted something special about these 2 ways of citing citing references in APA. In the first scenario, where we are using the parenthetical, everything is in the bracket, both the author's name and the year of publication or the date of publication. But now, when it comes to the second case, where we have the narrative, we just enclose the date or the year of publication. That's the only item that we put into bracket. I hope you guys are good in that, and you have also been able to note that difference. But now, I want us to get in a different scenario where you might find that you have some information missing. You have some missing information, and in this case we are going to focus on where the author's name has not been availed, or where you don't have the date of publication, or sometimes you might also miss some other important information that are very important in in-text citation. And to be able to do that, we are going to use this page here, or whatever you can see on your screen right now. So missing information, where we have the name of the author missing, you just write the title of the article. As you can see in this case, you just write the title of the article, and then you separate that with the year or the date of publication. Where the date is missing, you just substitute that with ND. ND simply means that we have no date allocated for that particular article. So you just have to write the name of the author, comma, and then you write ND. And then for the last area, where we have the page number of the article missing, that one is not much complicated. You just have to omit the number. This is very easy. Alternatively, you can use a locator. For example, in this case here, you can see the kind of information they have used. So having learned about the in-text citation in APA, I believe you're good in that and you can be able to write quality work. But if you have any question concerning the APA in-text citation, kindly you can leave your comment below and I'm going to address it. In our next video, we are now going to combine the cover page, the body of your work, and the reference page. So how do we make sure that our APA work is of high quality? I request your subscription kindly. You can also like this video and also share it with your friends. It's a pleasure having you for this moment.